Wrestling Maniac Podcast. This is your review of WWE NXT Takeover Chicago. Hello, welcome everyone to the podcast. And want to say you are here today and we are going to discuss WWE Takeover Chicago, the results, and how the show went, and what my rating was of this show. Overall, I give this show a good rating of 3 stars, which is good on a 1 to 5 star rating scale. And each match was relatively good. There was one spectacular match that I thought captured the entire show, and then there was one match that was a little bit lackluster, I felt. Alright, let's get to the show. And the show opens up at the Allstate Arena on May 20th, 2017. And we have, looks like the audience is ready to get this thing going. It is, the crowd is just anticipating the show. The show kicked off here at the Allstate Arena, and we first hear Sanity's music, and Eric Young comes out, and Sanity's leader is there in the ring waiting for his opponent, Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong's music hits, and he comes from out of nowhere and attacks the Sanity members that's in that faction that are waiting around the ring, and takes them out for a little bit and lets everybody in the arena know he's not going to put up with them interfering in this match, which was a good showing. The match goes on and back and forth. It was a good back and forth between the match. There are times in this match that Sanity did try to get involved, the other members, but Roderick Strong was able to overcome them. One instance in this match that I thought was great is Eric Young, his elbow off of the top rope. It was amazing. I have not seen an elbow drop like that since Randy Savage. He should be using that as a finisher. Because I don't believe there's anybody on the men's divisions that's using that, and he definitely should be using that as a finisher. But he goes for the pin, 1, 2, and Roderick Strong kicks out again. Then continually going back and forth. Eric Young gets knocked out of the ring. Eric and Strong hits him with his finisher, the backbreaker, a big backbreaker, and he got the pin, 1, 2, 3. This match accomplished what it needed it to accomplish. Roderick Strong continuing his progression as a babyface. He's in no hurry for a main roster appearance. He needs a slow build so that people get used to him on the mainstream, so he can develop a WWE style. We all know Roderick Strong from the independent scene, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and know him especially in Ring of Honor. He is good in the ring, has had big matches in the past, but as he was on the Jim Ross podcast that the week of the 20th, which I encourage everybody to go back and to check out on podcast 1, that he's a level-headed kid. He's got a family right now that they're trying to raise, him and his wife, him and his fiance, and they're just enjoying life right now, and he's learning all that he can learn to try to capitalize on everything that he can learn in NXT. That he's in the finishing school, of course, right now, because he's pretty big time stars, but he's learning from his teacher. Is one of his teachers is Shawn Michaels, and Michaels is imparting some good knowledge to Roderick Strong, and it looks like he's taking it to heart. He got over with the crowd this night, and everything just seemed to be going well. Now we come to I would say one of the main events that everybody had been looking for is Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate for the UK Championship. We are treated with Jim Ross announcing on this. Actually, Jim Ross was more of a color analyst here on this, which he let Nigel McGuinness lead on this, which was fine. It went very well, and Nigel McGuinness is a little bit more familiar with the UK wrestling scene and the UK wrestlers, and the match began. Fans began to chant Bruiserweight as the bell rung. Half the crowd was chanting for Pete Dunne, half the crowd was chanting for Tyler Bate, and here these two young, hungry kids was in the middle of the ring putting on the match of their life. I believe this match was a little bit better than the UK Championship match that they put on in the UK Championship tournament. There was back and forth. Everybody got their spots in. Tyler Bate got his airplane spin in. It was great. It was great because it's unique, and it was got a huge crowd pop. You know, there's nobody that does the airplane spin in really wrestling, especially in the U.S., that I know of. It seemed that everything was going Tyler Bates' way, but eventually he made a mistake, and when he made a mistake, the Pete Dunne was able to capitalize, and the crowd was so into this, they were chanting "Fight Forever." There was one instance that they were standing and they were just boxing it out in the middle of the ring. It was pretty good, but he went for the Tyler driver. He missed it. Pete Dunne was able to counter it. And then Bate was Bate ends up hitting a moonsault from the top down to the floor, which they had taken the action outside. It was pretty good high spot. I like the high spots that mean something, and Bate brings it right back into the ring, goes to the top. Bate with a corkscrew 450 splash off of the top rope, which was amazing, and the crowd went nuts. They got the count of 2 on that one, but he kicked out. The fans began to chant UK again. Bate runs into the ropes to a big dive, but Dunne sidesteps, puts him on the floor, and Dunne brings him back in and hits his finisher, the bitter end, and pins Tyler Bate. We have a new WWE UK champion, Pete Dunne. After the match, the crowd pops. Pete Dunne stands tall, takes the title, and JR and Nigel said goodbye on this match. This was a very good match. Many people said that they want to give us a 5-star, and they such a debate that I'm glad people are passionate about match. You know, this was a very good match. I give this match a 4 stars. That it was excellent match. This is the kind of match that you need to build a brand. These are the type of superstars, the type of wrestlers that you need to build a brand. And I look forward to the UK brand being built. It was awesome to hear Jim Ross on commentary, added so much to the commentary, and it was just an amazing match. It was the match of the night. I don't know if it was the match of the year. There's other matches that I have seen in New Japan Pro Wrestling that is equally good as this match, but this match was very good. It's going to go over, it went over very well. Huge pop in the UK and huge pop here in America. And as I said before, look forward to watching the UK in on the WWE network as they launch that program. Next, we have the women's title match that was in the ring. It was Ruby Riott versus Nikki Cross versus Asuka. This match was okay. All three of these competitors are very good. They all know how to wrestle. Nikki Cross provides that element of craziness, which just love. But Asuka is just on an entirely different level. People want to complain that they're tired of Asuka. She's been champion too long. Her build has been horrible. But this is how you build a mega star. This is how that you build a mega star. She has broken Goldberg's record of undefeated streak, which is amazing. She finds a way to win every time. I didn't see, and I have never seen her botch much in the ring. Asuka comes out with the win, and there was a lot of good back and forth, but it was a little bit lackluster. Ruby and Nikki collide with a crossbody attempts. Asuka tries to get back in, but she ends up on the floor as the other two go at it. Ruby drops Nikki with a Pele kick, but Asuka breaks up the pin with a running knee. Asuka stumbles over the top of both of them and pins both opponents. It was a good end to the match. I'll give the match probably about 2.5 stars. It just didn't seem, it seemed a little bit lackluster to me. But Asuka did pretty well. I look for Asuka versus Amber Moon, that match. I don't know what they're going to do in that match. I don't know if they're going to have Amber Moon beat Asuka. Just depends on when Asuka is going to be pulled to the main roster. I would pull her to the main roster at SummerSlam. I'd debut her at SummerSlam, and then I would set up Asuka versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. That is the match. And I would have Asuka to remain unbeaten until she gets to WrestleMania. And then it's just a toss-up however you want to go with that match. However you want to go with the match at WrestleMania. Asuka she's amazing. She is absolutely amazing in the ring. Next, we have the NXT title match. It's not the last match on the card, and there's a reason for this. We'll get to it. It would be Hideo Itami versus Bobby Roode. We get Hideo Itami in the ring first, and then we have the latest edition of the glorious entrance of Bobby Roode, which is absolutely off the charts. And the gimmick fits him perfectly, and nothing needs to be changed about it. Hideo Itami's, the story in this match was Hideo Itami continually trying to go for the GTS, the go to sleep. And Hideo Itami went after Bobby Roode's shoulder. Bobby Roode went after Hideo Itami's leg. As we all know, Hideo Itami has had leg trouble in the past. He sold it really well, but it's just like, man, I don't know if I want them to go through this or not to even hint this that they was going to do this about Hideo Itami's leg. But it was a good back and forth. Bobby Roode catches Hideo Itami in a spine buster for the 2 count. Roode readies for the glorious DDT, but Itami blocks it. And Hideo Itami goes for the GTS, but Roode goes to the apron. Roode drops Itami over the top rope, and Roode brings it to the floor and slams Itami into the barrier. Roode talks some trash. Itami counters, sending Roode's shoulder first into the steel steps, which that would be an issue. And Itami charges to the drop with a drop kick, but Roode misses, and Itami drop kicks the steel steps. The referee checks both stars. Roode clutches his shoulder. Hideo Itami clutches his knee. And that was the story in this match. We go on, and Hideo Itami calls for the GTS, but his legs go out, and Roode slides out. Roode hits the glorious DDT, but Hideo Itami kicks out. I don't like this. Now, I do not like the fact that Hideo Itami kicked out of Bobby Roode's finisher. I thought that they could have went for something else here if they was going to do a kick out instead of Bobby Roode's finisher, that it really didn't even provide much drama for Hideo Itami to kick out of this. I like the fact that finishers are finishers, and that's the end of the match. We don't need, I don't like all of these. We can have false finishes with other moves, but when, man, you hit that finisher, that should be the end of the ball game right there. It lasts in very special occasions and very special matches. That way, if it's not that way, that it loses a little bit of its feeling with the crowd. Anyway, Roode falls out of the ring after he is nailed with a GTS. Of course, there's a chance of CM Punk. Hideo Itami rolls Roode back in, and he gets into a count of 2. Hideo Itami picks up Roode for another GTS, but Roode turns it into a pinfall attempt, but Itami kicks out at 2 instead. They tangle. Itami blocks the glorious DDT with strikes. Itami attempts drops Roode with slaps. Itami drops a knee pad, and the crowd pops. Itami goes for the GTS, but it's blocked. And Roode with glorious DDT. That wasn't good enough. Then he went to another glorious DDT. And after the second glorious DDT, he pinned Hideo Itami. Hideo Itami went back to the back area and was angry. If we see in the WWE, on the WWE network, in the locker room, was destroying everything. Cassius Ohno tried to calm him down, and now we're going to get a program with Hideo Itami and Cassius Ohno, which at least Cassius Ohno is not going to be left out on a card again, or Drew McIntyre, or Aleister Black. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous that these guys was not on the card. They could have had them something to do. Next, we hit a plug. Now, I think this is very important. Next, they hit a plug for Chris Jericho's band for their single Fozzy. And it was good. Didn't think much of it. The reason why it was. But there was a reason, and it was genius of Triple H using Fozzy's single Judas as the theme of NXT Takeover Chicago. Next is the Tag Team Championship match, DIY versus the Authors of Pain in a ladder match. So we have a ladder match with these two huge behemoths, Akeem and Razor, and against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Both come out. DIY is over with the crowd. Very good match. I give this match at least three stars, or 3.5. I would. There was some great spots on this match where both teams went back and forth. Gargano and Ciampa just sacrificed themselves and sacrificed the Authors of Pain. One point there was Authors of Pain. I don't know which one it was. They was back suplexed into ladders. They were blocked. They were completely. The ladders was completely destroyed. Another instance, Gargano and Ciampa climbed a big, huge ladder with the Authors of Pain below them, suspended on ladders that was from the apron to the ringside to the ring railing, and they launched themselves off of those things. It was a great spot. Love this match. It was a good match. In the end, though, the Authors of Pain was just too much for DIY, and they went down to the 1, 2, 3, and they were pinned, and they lost their chance, their opportunity to regain the match. We thought it was over. Now, some people that I was talking with in the group I was talking to said that Tommaso Ciampa, that there was a tweet that went out from the singer who was working on new music for Johnny Gargano. It was out for a few minutes, a little bit, and then it was deleted. You know, and then all the dirt sheets just piled on that. And then the guys in the chat, they were saying that it was going to turn. I said, no, they can't do it. I said, DIY is so over. They're completely over. I mean, yes, you always saw that hint of, there was going to be a hint of betrayal in Tommaso Ciampa against Johnny Gargano, but you didn't think that it would be in NXT. They did this with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which I can understand, breaking them off into singles careers. But I don't know how much Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, is over as a singles competitor in the WWE. Now, Tommaso Ciampa in his indie wrestling career was a very violent, psycho type competitor. But I don't understand why you would do this at NXT, a developmental territory or developmental promotion. DIY was very over as a tag team. There's a need of tag teams, not only in NXT, but also on the main roster. There is the tag team division is very weak. But to be honest, the WWE is not big on tag teams. There's always a thought Vince McMahon has, why pay 4 guys for a match when you can pay 2? But now, yes, everybody, is contracted, so I don't know what difference that makes. But it made no sense for what happened here, that Tommaso Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano. Number one, on the singer that tweeted this tweet out. She should be fired, kicked off the project if she's not already. You sign a non-disclosure agreement when you work for the WWE on projects like this. She violated it. If she didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement, then whoever didn't have her was responsibility for her to sign that needs to be disciplined. But the singer She has got to go. Kick her out. I don't care if she's almost complete. I don't care what her situation is. There is a degree of being professional, and you want to be professional in your profession that you have. And it is not right just so you can get a few hits on Twitter, just so you can feel that you're important on Twitter, to share the storylines of the WWE. Second is there is an element of surprise that you have as a watching wrestling, that if that element is spoiled, then you lose a sense of surprise. You lose a sense of the entire atmosphere of watching what you're watching, the event that you're watching. You know, we may know, and some people might love going through the dirt sheets, but I'm not really a fan of it. Not anymore. I really try to avoid them when I watch events. Now, I give out predictions, and I might say what storylines might develop, but I'm not one to want to be to chase rumors and innuendos standing outside of locker rooms just so I can get a scoop. Because 95 or 90% of the scoops are false. They're just rumors that the WWE puts out there to get a feel in the WWE universe. I want to be a person in my professional career as a journalist covering pro wrestling that covers the events as they happen and then give comments back on those. I want to be able to offer my opinions on exactly that I would book some certain ways, because this is the way I feel that this character and this storyline needs to go. But I don't know 100%. Especially during the event, I'm not going to start tweeting out. I hope I don't. I shouldn't tweet out that, oh yeah, this is going to happen next. After the fact, I might say, yeah, I remember I said that in my podcast, or I said that on Twitter, or something like that, or I wrote that article that this is the direction that they're going to go, and it's nice to see that I was right. I didn't expect this. I expected the Authors of Pain to win here. I didn't expect this turn. You know, this turn reminds me a lot of the Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels turn. Except for the fact of one thing, that there is less money to be gained now because of this turn. The Shawn Michaels Marty Jannetty turn was probably one of the greatest swerves of tag team partners that there has ever been. There's been others, but this one, the Rock and Roll Express, I remember Robert Gibb. I remember that there was a turn on them, and it was a horrible angle because the Rock and Roll Express was so over as baby faces, and they went back together after one of them was able to get out of his contract from WCW, and they had great successful run in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which everybody ought to check out on YouTube. But this, there's got to be a payoff to it. I mean, are they going to carry it to the main roster? Johnny Gargano's wife, she tweeted out about the doctor's reports, and the doctors have been tweeting out. So she's been keeping kayfabe on this, which is good. And she's a wrestler, and she's in the business. But I don't feel that this would have been so much more dramatic if it had been done on the main roster. There was so much money, I believe, to be made here, because Johnny Gargano has that quality that people look for, of that underdog that is beat down but never gives up, or the Rudy type personality of the story of Rudy. And that's not very there's a lot of people that come along in wrestling that try to capture that. Sami Zayn is trying to capture that in his, but he just doesn't have the it factor that Gargano has. You know, Johnny Wrestling, you know, you can hear that chant, and you got a chant to go along with a name, and you got a chant to go along with a name. You got superstar written all over that. And then you have a guy that Tommaso Ciampa, I mean, that he can be, and we have seen in the independent scene, he can be a vicious heel. And there you have another heel. People say, oh, well, they may be relegated just to 205 Live, but they could be so much more if the story was developed. They could have gotten over big time as a tag team, especially on SmackDown Live. They could have gotten over huge on SmackDown Live as a tag team. But now that's gone. I can understand why Triple H had to use of Judas in this pay-per-view as the song. You know, Tommaso Ciampa, he definitely needs to use that song as his theme. But we'll see how this all develops. It was one of those shocking moments that I think that rarely come along in pro wrestling, and it is one of those moments that all of us should appreciate as fans, and also we should appreciate other people as fans for letting them have that moment also. And this was NXT Takeover. It was a pretty damn good show. 3.5 stars I'd give it. The last match, you could go ahead and give it a 3.5 stars, 4-star match. But you know, just only a little bit of lackluster on the women's match. It was good, but it really didn't captivate me. The match of the night was Tyler Bates versus Pete Dunne for the UK Championship. I expected Bobby Roode to retain on his championship. I looked for Hideo Itami to go. I know he's going to have this this feud with Cassius Ohno, but I would like for him just to go on to the main roster and to be in 205 Live. He would be a good addition there, be a good fit for him, and something that he wouldn't get lost in the shuffle if he wasn't in 205 Live. Well, I appreciate you folks. This has been NXT Takeover. Enjoy. I asked you to go back on the WWE Network, watch it. I actually watched it 2 or 3 times. I thought it was that entertaining. And we'll see you next time. And keep fighting, keep loving wrestling. Reach me, Real Guru Wrestle, on Twitter, and we'll see you later.